efficiently. That was their one thing, and it moved on to the next person. Okay? So basically, we've kind of, in a way, almost put the manufacturing assembly line process into the legal industry and changed the dynamics to where the client and the attorney time are finally on the same page. What I mean by that is I think the greatest analogy I heard, which is a very simple analogy from Alan Ferdinand, who's our incoming president here in a couple weeks from Prepaid Legal. He talked about his first trip to New York City. Okay? He's talking about his first trip. He goes to New York City, first time in America, first time in New York City. He's very excited. He flies into JFK. Anyone ever been to JFK?
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yeah. Is JFK in the middle of the boroughs?
Yeah.
No, it's on the outside, right? So it takes about 45 minutes or longer, depending on traffic, to get into Manhattan, right? So he gets into New York City, gets into JFK anyway, and he says, "Hey, Manhattan." The cab driver's like, "Your first time in New York City?" And he's like, "My first time in America." Wrong thing to say to the cab driver. He said it. He saw all 5 boroughs. You know, right? So almost 2 hours to get to Manhattan. He paid the guy an arm and a leg, and he went happily on his way, right? Not knowing. The next time he flew in, after he found out what had happened, really, without really knowing, okay, they had changed the system. And the system had altered to where now there was a sheet, like when you go to LAX and you get out, how when you go on to eat a cab, they hand you that sheet. Have you guys ever done this? And the sheet says how much it is to every single point in Los Angeles. Santa Monica this much, downtown this much, you know, all these places, right? Same thing they do in New York at JFK. They hand them a sheet. To go to Manhattan, it's this much. To go to the Bronx, it's this much. You know, to go to Brooklyn, it's this much, right? So it was $45 straight. Now, this changed the dynamics, okay? Prior to this sheet, the standardization that they put into the cab drivers, was there an incentive for the cab driver to get his client, Alan Fernley, to Manhattan as quickly as possible?
Oh, no.
No, because he doesn't get paid, does not get paid based upon distance. They get paid based upon time. Okay? So a lot of people think cab drivers are paid per mile. No, they're paid per minute. Because even if you're sitting still in a cab on the freeway, do they still charge you?
Oh, yeah.
You better believe it. So they're paid for time. So there's no incentive for you to get there as quickly as possible. Now the client, Alan Ferdley, wants to get to Manhattan as fast as possible. The cab driver wants you to get there as slow as possible. So the attorney and client's time are completely separate ends of the earth. Okay? That's what the legal industry has been like for the last 100 years. Actually longer than that, because it's an aristocratic mentality where the attorneys were actually only built for the wealthy in the first place. Okay? And then as we had this evolving middle class, they never understood the importance of it because the middle class emerged from the lower class. The upper class didn't fall into the lower class. Okay? So, anyway, moving on. That just got sidetracked into a whole other conversation, okay? But anyway, come on back here, okay? Here's what basically has happened. What Prepaid Legal has done is change the dynamics of how legal services are delivered in North America. Because prior to Prepaid Legal services, actually outside of Prepaid Legal, in our current industry, if I go to an attorney, okay, are they incentivized to handle my problem quickly and efficiently and effectively? No, because they get paid to bill more hours. And not all of them are great people. But if you want your name on the top of the law firm, you bill. If you can't bill, you know, I've helped a lot of people. Yeah, but you don't bill. You know, you don't get your name on the law firm. You know, that's just not how it works. Okay? Now, a lot of them are, a lot of people get into it. The challenge is a lot of attorneys end up going to law school because they want to help people, but then realize that they end up being in business because they're trying to generate more business than they're actually helping people. Because one of you find out about a lot of our attorneys that they love Prepaid Legal because they actually get to talk to people they would have never been able to help otherwise. Okay? So here's the transition. Okay? Our law firms are actually already paid up front. Okay? Here in California, our membership rate is about $30 a month. Okay? For a Prepaid Legal membership, roughly. Some pay more, some pay less.